Universal Studios producer and director Mrs. B. Scene 1. Hello, boys and girls around the world. And yes, my name is Mrs. B, and I'm a teacher in the United States. I'm so glad that you're able to join me today for a very, very, very special read aloud. But before I begin, I have a special song just for you. Hello, boys and girls around the world. Hello, boys and girls around the world. How are you? How are you? I'm glad you're here to read and learn. We know we'll have some fun today. We love school every day, and so will you. I know Mrs. B has a terrible singing voice, but she wanted to share a song with all of you. Boys and girls, the book that I've selected for today's read aloud is called Strega Nona, and this was written by Tommy DiPaola. He is the author of this book, and the person that drew the pictures is called an illustrator, and it just so happens it's the same person, Tommy DiPaola. This book won an award, the Caldecott Honor Award. And boys and girls, so many of you enjoyed reading this book that it got an award. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Boys and girls, this is the front or the cover of the book. And if I turn it around, this is the back of the book. Let's turn it over to the front and look at the title and the illustration. What do you think that this story is going to be about? Yes, it's a grandmother name, and she's a good witch. It's Strega Nona, and there's going to be somebody that's helping her in this story because she needs help. She's old with her house and her garden. But I wonder if there's going to be some trouble in this story. But before we find out, boys and girls, there are so many punctuation marks in this story. And you will come across punctuation marks in other stories that you read as well. So you should be familiarized with what they mean. The first mark is called a period, and a period means to stop. Mrs. B says pause because I have so many boys and girls when they read, they just stop and they don't know when to continue. So I say pause for a brief second and then move on to your next word and sentence. The next mark is called a comma, and a comma does mean to pause. It brings two or more thoughts together. And also, a comma is used to make a list of things. The next mark is an exclamation mark. But since you're so young, we call it an excited mark. And this at the end of a sentence can mean great emotions. Or it can show a command like get out or sit down. The next mark is called a question mark, and you place this at the end of a sentence when you're asking something and you don't know what the answer is, boys and girls. The last mark is called quotation marks, and the beginning quotation marks come in a pair, which is to, and then there's end quotation marks. Again, there's a pair, to. When somebody starts talking in a sentence, we put the beginning quotation marks. When they stop talking, we put the end quotation marks after the punctuation mark, boys and girls. Now, boys and girls, reading is so important. Reading means understanding the author's message, not just calling out a bunch of words. So if you cannot answer comprehension questions after reading a page, then you have not truly read anything, boys and girls. So I want your eyes and ears to be on Mrs. B, because at the end I'm going to be asking some comprehension questions, a little test for all of you. And then I have a fun activity to do with your family at home as well, boys and girls. And during the reading, I will be asking some questions as well to see if you're paying attention. So, shall we begin? Here is a picture on the inside cover. I bet this is going to be the town. Strega Nona. Boys and girls, when Mrs. B reads, does she read left to right or right to left? I read left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. Good job, boys and girls. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago, there lived an old lady everyone called, what is her name, boys and girls? Strega Nona, which meant grandma witch, but she's a good witch, boys and girls. Although all the people in town talked about her in whispers, they all went to see her if they had troubles. Even the priest and the sisters of the convent went because Strega Nona did have a magic touch. And there, boys and girls, is Strega Nona. And all the people in the town visit her when they have troubles. And it looks like it's a beautiful day because we have the yellow sun out. She could cure a headache with oil and water and a hairpin. She made special potions for the girls who wanted husbands. And she was very good at getting rid of warts. Ugh. But Strega Nona was getting old, boys and girls, and she needed someone to help keep her little house and garden. So she put up a sign in the town square. And there she is putting up a sign, help needed. I wonder, boys and girls, who is going to help her? Let's make a prediction, shall we? That means we're going to guess what happens next based on what we've read so far. And what else, boys and girls? The illustrations also help you to give you a clue. So let's see if your prediction is correct. Big Anthony, who didn't pay attention, went to see her. Anthony says, Strega Nona, you must sweep the house and wash the dishes. You must weed the garden and pick the vegetables. You must feed the goat and milk her. And you must fetch the water. For this I will give you 3 coins and a place to sleep and food to eat. Oh, Gracie, said Big Anthony. The one thing you must never do, said Strega Nona, is touch the pasta pot. It is very valuable and I don't let anyone touch it. Oh, see. See means yes, said Big Anthony. And so the days went by. Big Anthony did his work and Strega Nona met with the people who came to see her for headaches and husbands and warts. Big Anthony had a nice place to sleep and next to the goat shed, and he had food to eat. One evening when Big Anthony was milking the goat, he heard Strega Nona singing and peeking in the window. He saw Strega Nona standing over the pasta pot. And boys and girls, the only thing that she asked was that Big Anthony not touch that big pot. Boys and girls, do you think that Big Anthony is not going to follow the directions that Strega Nona left for him? And is he going to touch the pot? Let's see, boys and girls. She sang, "Bubble, bubble, pasta pot. Boil me some pasta nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up." And the pasta pot bubbled and boiled and was suddenly filled with steaming. Boys and girls, after she said that potion, what was the pot full of? Hot pasta. Yummy, yummy in the tummy. Then Strega Nona sang, "Enough, enough, pasta pot. I have my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day." How wonderful, said Big Anthony. That's a magic pot for sure. So boys and girls, she sings to start the pasta, and until the pasta is enough for her that she thinks will fill up her belly, then she stops it by singing again. So she starts and sings, and to stop, she sings it again. And Strega Nona called Big Anthony in for supper. But too bad for Big Anthony because he didn't see Strega Nona blow 3 kisses to the magic pasta pot. 1, 2, 3. That's the key. Those 3 kisses to stop all of that pasta from overflowing, boys and girls. So he missed that. And this is what happened, boys and girls. Let's see if your predictions are going to come true within the next couple of pages. The next day, when Big Anthony went to the town square to fetch the water, he told everyone about the pasta pot, and naturally everyone laughed at him because it sounded so silly. A pot that cooked all by itself? You better go and confess to the priest, Big Anthony, they said. Such a lie. And Big Anthony was angry, and that wasn't a very good thing to be, boys and girls. I'll show them, he said to himself. Someday I will get the pasta pot and make it cook, and then they'll be sorry. That day came sooner than even Big Anthony would have thought, because 2 days later, boys and girls, Strega Nona said to Big Anthony, "Anthony, I must go over the mountain to the next town to see my friend, Stega. Sweep the house, weed the garden, feed the goat, milk her, and for your lunch there is some bread and cheese in the cupboard. And remember, don't touch the pasta pot." Good job. "Oh, yes, yes, Strega Nona," said Big Anthony. But inside he was thinking, my chance has come, boys and girls. Boys and girls, I want you to look at this punctuation mark. What is the name of this mark? An excited mark or exclamation mark. Boys and girls, someone is talking here. And what are these quotation marks here? Quotation marks? Yes, boys and girls. As soon as Strega Nona was out of sight, Big Anthony went inside and pulled a pasta pot off the shelf and put it on the floor. Now let's see if I can remember the words, said Big Anthony. And Big Anthony sang. Boys and girls, you can sing along with Mrs. B. Bubble, bubble, pasta pot. Boil me some pasta, nice and hot. I'm hungry and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up. And sure enough, the pot bubbled and boiled and began to fill up with pasta. Aha, said Big Anthony, and he ran to the town square, jumped on the fountain, and shouted, Everyone get forks and plates and platters and bowls. Pasta for all at Strega Nona's house. Big Anthony has made the magic pasta pot work. Of course, everyone laughed, but ran home to get forks and plates and platters and bowls. And sure enough, when they got to Strega Nona's, the pasta was so full it was beginning to overflow, boys and girls, because he didn't do the 3 kisses at the end. That makes the pasta stop making in the pot. Boys and girls, who are the 2 main characters in this story? Yes, boys and girls, it is Strega Nona and Big Anthony. And boys and girls, where is the setting? Where does the story mainly take place? In a town. Good job, boys and girls. Big Anthony was a hero. He scooped out pasta and filled the plates and platters and bowls. There was more than enough for all the townspeople, including the priest, the sisters from the convent, and some people came back for 2 and 3 helpings, but the pot was never empty. Oh. The pasta just keeps making and making itself in the pot. When will it stop, boys and girls? And will it stop? Who likes eating pasta? I love pasta. I eat it a couple times a week. And I make it with different recipes, so it's not the same old dish every time. When all had had their fill, Big Anthony sang, Enough, enough, my pasta pot. I have my pasta nice and hot. Together, boys and girls, so simmer down my pot of clay until I'm hungry another day. But alas, he did not blow. How many kisses, boys and girls? 3 kisses. He went outside, and to the applause of the crowd, Big Anthony took a bow. He was so busy listening to compliments from everyone that he didn't notice the pasta pot was still bubbling and boiling until a sister from the convent said, Oh, Big Anthony, look. And pasta was pouring out of the pot all over the floor of Strega Nona's house and was coming out the door. Boys and girls, this is called a problem, and we need a solution to the problem. And I wonder what the solution is going to be, boys and girls. Big Anthony rushed in and shouted the magic words again, but the pot kept bubbling. He took the pot off the floor, but pasta kept on pouring from it. Big Anthony grabbed a cover and put it on the pot and sat on it. But the pasta raised the cover and Big Anthony as well and spilled on the floor of Strega Nona's house. Boys and girls, this is a very big problem. Stop, yelled Big Anthony, but the pasta did not stop, and if someone hadn't grabbed poor Big Anthony, the pasta would have covered him up. The pasta had all but filled the little house. Out of the windows and through the doors came the pasta, and the pot kept right on bubbling. Boys and girls, do you think the pasta is going to go into town? I think so too. The townspeople began to worry. Do something, Big Anthony, they shouted. Big Anthony sang the magic song again, but without the 3 kisses, boys and girls, it did no good. By this time, the pasta was on its way down the road, and all the people were running to keep ahead of it, boys and girls. That pasta is headed for town. We must protect our town from the pasta, shouted the mayor. Get mattresses, tables, doors, anything to make a barricade to block it. But even that didn't work. The pot kept bubbling and the pasta kept coming, boys and girls. This is going to be truly a mess. Let's see, boys and girls. What punctuation mark is this right here? Let's see if you remember. A comma. Good job. We are lost, said the people, and the priest and the sisters of the convent began praying. The pasta will cover our town, they cried. And it certainly would have had Strega Nona not come down the road home from her visit. She didn't have to look twice to know what happened, boys and girls. And there is Strega Nona. She is in town. Boys and girls, do you think that she is going to be the solution to the problem? Let's find out. She sang the song and blew the 3 kisses. 1, 2, 3, and with a sputter, the pot stopped boiling and the pasta came to a halt. Oh, grazia, that means thank you. Thank you, Strega Nona, the people cried. But then they turned on poor Big Anthony. String him up, the man of the town shouted. They are so angry with who, boys and girls? They are mad with Big Anthony. Now wait, said Strega Nona. The punishment must fit the crime. And she took a fork from a lady standing nearby and held it out to Big Anthony. All right, Anthony, you wanted pasta from my magic pasta pot, Strega Nona said, and I want to sleep in my little bed tonight. So start eating all that pasta. Oh, he's going to get nice and fat and sick probably from eating all that pasta. But that's his consequence for not following directions, boys and girls. And he did. Poor Big Anthony. His stomach is already coming out and he's already feeling sick. And what animal is this, boys and girls? A bunny rabbit. And is this a half moon or a full moon? It's a half moon. Good job, boys and girls. And there he is. Strega Nona is sleeping sound in her little house. And there is Big Anthony, sick to his stomach. The end. Boys and girls, what did you think about the story Strega Nona? If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you did not like it, give it a thumbs down. I gave it a thumbs up too. I really enjoyed reading it to all of you boys and girls. Now let's see how much you remember. Here is some questions for you. The name Strega Nona means A, grandma witch, or B, magic witch. A, grandma witch. Good job. Why did Strega Nona put a sign in the town square? A, she needed to buy pasta. B, she needed someone to help her around the house and garden. Yes, B, she needed someone to help. Number 3, Strega Nona used oil, water, and a blank to cure headaches. Was it A, a pickle, or B, a hairpin? B, a hairpin. Good job, boys and girls. Number 4, how did Strega Nona stop the magic pot from making pasta? A, she poured oil in the pot. B, she blew 3 kisses. B, she blew 3 kisses. Good job. Next question. When Big Anthony told the magic pot to make pasta, the people in the town blinked the pasta. A, they enjoyed the pasta, or B, were sad about the pasta. A, they enjoyed the pasta, boys and girls. Number 6, Big Anthony took a bow when he heard the crowd complain, A, or B, when he heard an applause. B, when he heard an applause. Now, do you remember what the word grazia in the story means? A, does it mean goodbye? Or B, thank you? Thank you. Good job, boys and girls. Now, Strega Nona made the punishment fit the crime when she A, fired him, or B, made him eat all that pasta. B, made him eat all that pasta. Good job, boys and girls. Now, I have a fun activity for you to do at home. You can do it on a large poster board, would be great, or a smaller board. Now, I want you to think about the things that Strega Nona needed help with around her house and garden. Make a sign that Strega Nona could put in the town square asking for help in her home. And I want you to decorate your big sign, boys and girls. So poster board would be great. You can use paint and paintbrushes, markers, crayons to decorate your sign for Strega Nona. She will greatly appreciate it, boys and girls. And lastly, I have a special treat for all of you. Somebody is visiting Mrs. B in her office. And this is also my mini classroom in my house in Michigan. So boys and girls, I wonder who it is. It's Winnie the Pooh. Thank you so much for joining Mrs. B and all the boys and girls around the world. Would you like to help me say goodbye to all of them? Well then, boys and girls, reading is fundamental. And I want to say thank you for joining Winnie the Pooh and I for this very special read aloud. So bye for now.